Hi. I'd like to see that Karen was reading The Way to Love before class began. So Anthony DeMelo, he's one of my favorite teachers. I don't have a copy of my book here because I always keep giving it away and then I didn't get a new one yet. But I feel he's willing to be very clear and very kind of stern. And he was giving these teachings to his Jesuit community. And he must have sensed there was a need to be more insistent, more clear, more like we have to pay better attention. So sometimes people experience his writings as provocative, but maybe that provocative is needed right now. Were you reading a certain chapter?
I've been kind of going through chapter by chapter, you know, because you mentioned it in one of the classes earlier this year, and it took a while for it to arrive in the mail,
Mm-hmm.
but it finally came. So I'm just kind of taking little doses. The one I was just reading is called How to Give.
Oh, great.
And it's sort of like when you seek something, you sort of can't get it. You have to let go,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of a lot of his message about attachment.
Yeah, he speaks a lot about attachment, which is why we use it in our yoga teacher training, because yoga is teaching this like commitment to self-study and also this practice of non-attachment. And he's really good about sort of weaseling out where our attachments still live. And he gives great examples, even though he was a Jesuit, he's giving great examples for lay people. We don't have to be a part of the Jesuit community to understand what he's talking about. So yeah, I'm glad to see you reading it. Okay, so this morning I'd like to, thank you, Susie, for pressing the record button. This morning I'd like to start class with a quote from my friend and one of my teachers and a person who's a role model for me, Gabor Mate. So I'm going to do screen sharing for this quote, and then we'll sit quietly together and get started. He's presenting an event this coming Sunday on Facebook at 9 a.m. And he said, "No one with awareness and a commitment to justice and equality can live these days without pain, sorrow, or anger. Nor can we, especially those of us who do not encounter police brutality or systemic injustice based on our skin color, stay silent, resigned, or inactive in the face of the racism. No one with awareness and a commitment to justice and equality can live these days without pain, sorrow, or anger. Nor can we, especially those of us who do not encounter police brutality or systemic injustice based on our skin color, stay silent, resigned, or inactive in the face of the racism." So this is sort of a call to action, and I know we've been discussing this, that we want to stay porous, aware, open. We're not using yoga to shut out. We're not using yoga to sort of retreat away from, but we're here to practice yoga so we can feel more capable of participating, and so we can feel more what is happening for others. For those of us who haven't experienced directly, we can still sense indirectly the felt experience of other when we allow the body to become more sensitive and more porous. So that's partly why we're here as well, to sense the strength and grounding that we need to have for what apparently is going to need long-term stamina. We came from COVID-19 now to this, and some of you didn't feel renewed by the COVID-19 experience. So we're coming into this really important requirement for humanity. We're coming in a little bit tapped out. So we need to tap into that strength and resilience too. So please take a seat that you can be comfortable in for a couple of minutes. I'm going to back up so I won't hit the computer. We've been doing some pranayamas that require this prostration forward, and I don't want to hit the computer when I go forward. So rest your hands in your lap. You can sit on the floor cross-legged, but you could also sit in a chair and make a tripod seat where your knees are out and the hands go over your knees. You might come inside and even make your own version of this little prayer during your practice today. May you tap into the ways in which you can be more resilient, more connected, the ways in which you can listen. May your practice help you to be a servant to humanity. And when you sense whatever version of that prayer is yours to have, kind of like an intention for your practice, but also a prayer, then breathe in such a way as you're sending that prayer to all parts of your body and to your psyche on behalf of your practice and on behalf of your community. And when the breath does become more fluid, more conducive, it's sharing that message to the entirety of your inner body. Also lengthen up through your spine. Lift the base of your skull, the collarbones where they meet your sternum. Lift the center of your heart. But also relax your eyes, your ears, your jaw, your shoulder blades, your solar plexus. You can join your hands in Anjali Mudra. But may our practice help to keep us in our intentions, in our prayer. And we'll sing Sahana together. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands. Please open your eyes. And we're going to do a little pranayama together. I'm just setting the microphone where you'll be able to hear me when I bend forward. So I'm going to ask you to start by clasping your hands behind the small of your back and roll your shoulders back. Lift your collarbones up. Press your arms back towards the wall behind you. And then bow your chin down towards your throat. So you're not lifting your heart by lifting your chin. And keeping both shoulders pressed firmly back. Bring your chin slowly towards your right shoulder. And then slowly, like a grandfather clock, bring the chin to center and then to the left side. And then bring your chin to center. And as you inhale, lift your heart, your collarbones, your throat, lift your chin and your eyes. And when you exhale, bow forward without the use of your hands on the floor to see how far you go. Tone the deep low belly. Then inhale, draw yourself up to sitting. Lift up through your heart, your throat, and your chin. And exhale, bow forward. Lead with your heart, but let the chin and then the head come down. Raise your arms up behind you. And then inhale, roll back up, open your heart. Lift your collarbones, open your throat and your chin. Lift your gaze. And once more, exhale to come forward and to bow your head. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling. Now as you stay forward, release the clasp of your hands and walk your hands out so they're on the floor in front of you. Stretch out from your hips to your fingertips, however deeply forward you have bent. And let the breath come into the back of your waist, the sides of your waist, the back of your heart. And as you exhale, make a sigh sound so the whole body gets to participate in this vibration. Okay, inhale again through the nose, lift into your back waist, side waist, the back of your heart. Okay, once more an inhale followed by a sigh. Now walk your hands back towards your knees and rise up to sitting. Interlace your fingers, lift your chest, heart, and throat. And then turn partway to your right. And as you exhale, bow over your right thigh, raise your arms up. Inhale, rise up, using the breath to lift your torso, your heart, open your throat, lift your gaze. And exhale to bow over your right leg so your torso comes out over your right thigh and knee. One more time, inhale to go up, lift your heart, roll the shoulders back, little twist of the upper back to your right. And exhale to bow over your right leg. Raise the arms up momentarily. And then release the clasp of your hands and walk your hands out onto your yoga mat, out into the right upper corner of your mat. And stretch the left arm specifically. Breathe into the left hemisphere of the body. We're going to use the sigh for the exhale. Again, inhale through the nose. And then walk yourself back up to sitting. Once again, reach back and clasp your hands. Roll your chest, heart, and shoulders open. We're going to go to the left this time, so little back bend first. And then rotate to your left and exhale, bow over your left thigh. Raise your arms up behind you. Inhale, roll up. So you're lifting your chest, heart, open your throat, lift your gaze. And exhale to bow over your left leg. Tone the deep low belly. One more time, inhale to roll up. Little twist of the upper back to your left, open your heart and throat. And then exhale, pour yourself over your left leg. Raise the arms just momentarily. And then release your hands and walk out to the upper right corner of your mat. And stretch the right hemisphere of your body. Inhale deeply through the nose. Do that again. Inhale through the nose. And then walk yourself back up to sitting. And when you come upright, take notice about how things are feeling. Particularly how you're feeling in the region of the heart, your throat, up to your face, your head, your mind. What's happening in the upper chakras here. And then please come up to standing. And we're going to take a wide stance on the mat. I got my things, Susie. Thanks for getting the camera. Take a wide stance. Sweep the arms out to the side. So here's the in-breath, and we're going to exhale to go down, left hand to the right ankle, and you're going to gaze up to your right. So here's the inhale. And then exhale. Inhale, float up. Now Ujjayi, exhale to your other side. Ujjayi, inhale, rise up. Ujjayi, exhale down to your right with your left hand, gaze up to your right. Ujjayi, inhale. And exhale down to your left. Inhale, rise up, arms overhead this time. And then exhale, rotate and come down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, rotate and come down. Once more, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, rotate and then twist. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, rotate and then come down to twist. And inhale, arms up. Exhale, turn your toes out, come down to your jazz dance warm-up pose. You can bow your head gently towards the floor. Keep it in line with your spine. Stretch the inner thighs from the center of the pelvis out to the inner thighs and knees. You can keep your hands on your knees. I'm just going to tie my hair up out of my face. So in this position, take the breath into the back waist, much like when you were bowing forward from your seated position, broaden the back of the body. And then exhale, twist to your right and try to keep both arms straight so your twist is centered between your knees, not closer to your right knee than your left. And imagine this twist going from the lower spine, mid-spine, upper spine, and then your head and your eyes. Try gazing up to the right corner of your room. And then exhale, bring that around to center. Turn your right fingers in, left fingers out, and twist to your left. First do the low spine, and then your mid spine, your upper back spine, and then turn your gaze to the upper left corner of your room. When you exhale, tone the low belly slowly. No sense of rushing the breath cycle. And then exhale, bring yourself back around to center. Please straighten both legs and let's make the feet parallel and come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. Come over the top of your thighs. And it's okay to rest your hands on blocks. You can put your hands on the floor. Some of you may have flexibility similar to mine and your elbows come down to the floor. There's no competition for what body parts reach the floor here. As you gaze back towards the wall that's behind you, near to the baseboard where it meets the wall, I'm going to ask you to breathe into the back hemisphere of your body. And when you exhale, we're going to use the sighing sound again. So let the sigh turn into the sound of the letter M. Inhale to the back hemisphere of your body. Twice more. Inhale. And one more time. Okay, please shift your hands to your hips. Rise up to standing. And when you come up, please come into a mountain pose. Mountain pose like this. And let both arms dangle lightly. Come into your plumb line to sense, okay, what's happening now? And if you sense within yourself this conversation of staying porous, being open, allowing the dilemmas to come into your field of awareness. They are our dilemmas. Also allow this massive sort of consciousness, love or grace that we recognize through the practice of yoga to be with you, so that both are true. So both are true. That which is most abiding, we call it in yoga, that which is ongoing, that which is infinite, that which is compassionate, benevolent, graceful, and wise. It's also true that humanity is kind of messing up and has been for quite some time. So you might sense that verticality as the consciousness thing. You could call it whatever you want. You can call it God if you like. And then the human dilemma as more like a horizontal plane. That which is coming towards us, that which we want to go out and participate with, that which is coming towards us. And this other plane is more vertical. So please step to the front of your mat for Surya Namaskar, keeping that in mind. Place your blocks for your sun salutation today, please. So the blocks are for Uttanasana, but also we're going to be doing Trikonasana, so we'll use them in that position too. Join your hands together, please. Now try to keep your hips stable. We're going to be doing a little dance to get down to Uttanasana. So try to keep the pelvis stable. Okay, inhale, sweep the arms up, center your legs, feet, and hips. And then exhale, turn. So you're going to rotate right and bow over your right leg to come down to Uttanasana. Then inhale, rise up in the center. Exhale, rotate left and bow over your left leg. Come down to the center like a grandfather clock. Inhale, rise up, root down through your heels, lift your hands and gaze. And then exhale, rotate right and bow over your right leg, which means keep your left leg stable so you're not swiveling the grandfather clock. The pendulum gets to move, but not the rest of the clock. Inhale, take the arms up. You rotate to your left and then bow over the left leg. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, left foot back. Inhale, rise up. Okay, Ujjayi, exhale, airplane pose. Ujjayi, inhale, rise up. So the breath is strong, the movements are smooth. Ujjayi, exhale, bow forward. Ujjayi, inhale, rise up. One more. Ujjayi, exhale, bow forward. Touch the two blocks. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. Exhale, right foot back. Keep your left heel grounded. Inhale, rise up. Good. Exhale, bow forward. Airplane pose. Full exhale, like an accordion. Inhale, rise up, opening the bellows of the body. Exhale, bow forward, airplane pose. Once more, inhale to rise. Good, exhale, airplane pose, and touch the two blocks this time at the bottom of your exhale. Inhale backwards, downward dog pose. Let's use the two blocks. Exhale forward, plank pose, two strong arms tone the low belly. Step over one foot and come into upward facing dog pose, step over the other foot. Inhale to lift your heart and your chin. And then exhale, roll up, plank pose. Gaze down between your thumbs. Inhale, reach high, downward facing dog. Okay, exhale, right foot forward. Inhale to rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Open slowly. Gaze out over your right fingertips. Good. Lift into your back waist across here so it's remembered that the breath is circumferential. First third, middle third, upper third. Good, now staying in your warrior two, bring your hands down to clasp them behind your back. Keep the legs steady, roll your chest and shoulders open. You're probably pointing a little bit towards the left corner of your room, which is appropriate. So inhale, lift your heart, and then exhale and bow on that diagonal. And inhale to rise up so the torso gathers itself over your pelvis in warrior two. And then exhale and bow on the diagonal towards the left corner of your room. Keep the right outer hip strong. Inhale, rise up so the torso stacks itself over your pelvis. And exhale, bow over to the left side of the room, left upper corner of your room. And then inhale, rise up, energize your right outer hip. And sweep the arms out, warrior two. Good. Now windmill the arms over. And step backwards to downward dog pose. You can notice the heat your body is generating here. Let's inhale through the nose. And then exhale, left foot forward. This is for your crescent lunge. Inhale, rise up smoothly with the Ujjayi breath. And then exhale, rotate to warrior two. Good. And in warrior two, gaze over your left fingertips. Lift the low belly in and broaden your back waist. Now keeping the inner thighs of both legs steady and your left knee straight on, so it's not going to waver about. Clasp your hands at the small of your back. You're going to aim for the upper right corner of your room. So inhale, and then exhale to bow on the diagonal. Keep the outer left hip strong. Inhale, roll it up so you're stacking yourself over your pelvis, stacking the torso over the pelvis. And then exhale, bowing. Keep the left outer hip steady, good job. And rise up with your inhale, keep the left heel grounded. Here's our last one. So exhale and bow over to the right corner of your room. And then roll yourself up and release to warrior two. Great, windmill the arms over. And as you touch the two blocks, please step your right foot forward to meet your left foot. Bring your heart forward. And then exhale for a deep bow over the legs. Now this time, inhale, twist to your right as you rise up. And then center that. Exhale down to Uttanasana. Good job. Inhale, twist to your left as you rise up. And exhale down to Uttanasana. Squeeze the breath out. Again, inhale, twist to your right as you rise up. Exhale, Uttanasana. One more, inhale, twist left, rise up. And exhale, come to your heart. When you come to your heart, let your mind chatter subside. Listen in the vertical plane. Consciousness, grace, love. Allow yourself to stay also aware in the horizontal plane, the human dilemmas. I'm going to go to triangle pose. So inhale, sweep the hands down, wide and up. Okay, let's exhale and bow forward just smoothly, regular Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. This time when you exhale, take your left toes back like you would for the basic lunge. Straighten your right leg so your knee is in line with your toes. Let's walk this block back like this. Tip it up to the high setting. And then it's going to be under your right shoulder, we hope. You pivot your left heel down and sweep the left arm back. Twist to your left. Raise your left arm up to Trikonasana, the triangle pose. Now in this triangle pose this afternoon, what we're going to do is keep the right arm, right leg, left leg strong. And when you exhale, I'd like you to sweep the left arm down alongside your torso towards your left hip and also gaze down to the floor. Stretch the left side of your neck. When you inhale, raise your left arm and your gaze. And exhale, glide your left arm down, gaze down towards your right foot or hand. Inhale, raise it up. And exhale, slide your left arm down and gaze down. One more time, inhale to go up. And last one, exhale to come down. Now wrap your left arm around the small of your back so that the back of your arm is actually crossing to the top of the sacrum or the kidneys. Broaden the back of your waist and begin rotating the mid-torso. Strengthen your right arm. Rotate your collarbones. Widen the left collarbone from your heart towards the ceiling. Begin gazing up. Rotate your chin and your nose and your eyes. Then take both shoulders back. Make a little feeling of a back bend in the upper back, chest, heart, and throat. Roll the left shoulder back, and as you're ready to raise your left arm up, let's make a full circle so the left arm comes down to that block that hasn't moved. Tip the other block back to the medium setting, and please step forward with your left foot. And notice how the two sides of your body experience this moment. In fact, rise up to mountain pose so you can sense it, even what's happening in the two sides of the neck and the shoulders. So very important discoveries can be made in the physical body. Like that to which we give our attention comes to life, becomes re-energized, revitalized. We get to know it, even if it's been hidden from our awareness. So that which we give attention to kind of lights up in our psyche, but also in the body. Let's do the other side of this pose. So you can come down where your fingers are on the blocks. Step backwards, please, with your right foot this time. Okay, pivot your back heel to the floor and straighten your left leg. If you look down, I'd like your left knee to line up with the third or the second toe of your left foot. Turn the block up on the tall setting. Go ahead and strengthen your left arm. I welcome you to press down firmly. So what you have is a really good foundation here through which you're going to turn your chest and your heart. Sweep your right arm towards the wall behind you. And then raise it up as you look up towards your right thumb. With your exhale, open your right arm and gaze down with your nose and your eyes towards your left foot or hand. You inhale to go up. Exhale to gaze down, sweep your right arm back. Gaze as far as your head goes, but then your eyes can gaze further to your left. And inhale, raise it up. And exhale, take your right arm wide, gaze down, and keep the eyes even going left further than your nose can go. One more time, inhale to roll up. And exhale to roll down. So the right arm goes down behind you. As you're gazing down this time, bend your right elbow and sweep your hand around the small of your back. Now keeping your tailbone anchored so the lower back is not arching here to fit your right arm behind it. I'm going to ask you to roll the shoulders open like you're making a little back bend of the shoulders. You may gaze up. Roll the right shoulder back. Keep your left arm strong. Notice what it takes to open your throat, your heart, your gaze. And then let's make a big circle so you can take your right arm up and bring it overhead and forward to touch the block. And take the other block back to the medium setting. And I'm going to ask you to step backwards now with your hands on your blocks for downward dog pose. And then roll this forward, please, to table pose. Touch the knees down. And momentarily, let's go backwards to child's pose. Okay, so you have a block to support your head. And the forearms can go to Sphinx pose there. Relax the weight of your head. Invite your senses to be quiet. And then please walk your hands to table pose. I'm going to ask you to put the two blocks back for table pose like this. Okay, so table pose is going to be an entrance into upward facing dog and then down to a variation on cobra pose. So if you place the fingers so that your index fingers point out and the thumbs and the other three fingers wrap around the sides of the block, You can even turn the blocks slightly out to give an advantage to your shoulders. So in table pose, then roll the shoulders open. You can turn the crease of the elbows forward and start gliding your heart forward beyond your upper arms here. So the heart glides past the upper arms. And then you can roll the shoulders up and back. Press into the tops of both feet. Lift your knees. Press the feet towards each other to energize your inner thighs. Yep. And then also lift your heart, collarbones, and your chin. When you exhale, lightly touch your knees down, bend your elbows, and go really slowly. I'd like you to press the shoulders back, bring the heart forward, gaze forward, shoulders back, and the shoulders keep going back as you come to cobra pose on your blocks. Now root the tailbone, press down with the legs, roll your heart forward, slide the shoulders back, and roll up and up and up. And then sweep the low belly in and roll back towards child's pose. Take one block for your forehead. And in child's pose, invite your body to be at rest. And then please bring a blanket onto your mat to sit on. I will ask you to sit cross-legged to the best of your ability. If you're not able to do that on the floor this afternoon, you could do it in a chair with a second chair in front of you, and you would sit kind of in a tripod base. And let's check that when you come forward, you'll have a place where your head is supported. And then rise up to sitting. So you just check your dimensions there. In the beginning of class, we were doing some pranayama. We weren't staying down very long, right? We were going down and coming up. So right now I'm going to ask you to take your hands behind the small of your back. Lift up with your heart and your collarbones. Press your shoulders back. And as you lift, you can go up towards a little back bend. Here's the inhale. And then exhale and pour yourself forward, reaching towards the block you have now provided for us to stay down a little bit longer. So you can keep breathing and do your best to raise the arms up behind you. So whatever amount of forward you've come, whether it's just a couple degrees or lots of degrees, whether you have 2 blocks for your head or no blocks for your head, roll your shoulders up away from the floor, back away from your ears. Give a little squeeze of the shoulder blades towards each other. And see if you can rock a little bit side to side so the upper body has a kind of freedom or fluidity. Bring yourself, when you're ready to, bring yourself to center and inhale, roll up to sitting. Open the throat at the top of your inhale. And then exhale and rest your hands out over your knees. And come back into awareness of that vertical line. a sense that when we practice and we're lined up with our best self, we're lined up also with the divine, with nature. I'm trying to sense both that vertical plane and the horizontal field. It's actually called the kshetra, the field. That field on which the difficulties are being played out. I'm going to ask you to place one hand, left hand on your heart like this and put a little bit of weight onto your collarbones. You're actually going to pull down to cause yourself on the inhale to have something to press up against. And when you inhale, go first third, middle third, upper third, continually, not with interruptions. The top part of the breath there, feel the heart pressing up into your downward pressure with your left hand. Exhale from the base of the belly and the pelvis first. And then inhale again, first third, middle third, up into the heart where you have to make this lift against the pressure of your hand. Now, as you continue, what we're going to do is count the length of the inhale. Let's say your inhale is 10 counts. Maybe it's 8, maybe it's 6. You're going to hold the inhale equal to the length of your breath. Suspension and inhale are equal. And then exhale also equal to the length of the breath. So that's called a triangle breath because inhale, suspension, and exhale are equal. At the bottom of the exhale is just a brief pause. Let's try this 3 times, please. When you're suspending the inhale, try to sense the lift of the heart and then the lift of the base of the skull. So where your fingers are touching your collarbones, you might actually sense the muscles that respond to the lift of the base of the skull. You have one more breath cycle here. Then release your left hand to your lap. And let the mental chatter get really quiet, as if it were a Ferris wheel that has come to a stop, a ceiling fan that has come to stop. You sense this verticality, this silent stream of presence that infuses you. It's larger than you are. Without the mental chatter, without the ceiling fan of the mind whirling, perhaps we can also sense that the human dilemma is our own. This is our family. I'm going to ask you to come down to rest, and we're going to do something for this short shavasana. It's called pratyahara. We use a blanket for this purpose. So when you lie down, you have your blanket close enough by. Lie back like this, and what you do is you take the blanket. I like to flick mine overhead like this, and then you cover the eyes and the ears and the crown of the skull. You don't cover the nose or the mouth. So let your senses go inward. Let the body really deeply rest. When you take your senses inward, let your mind get very still in the stream of the center line of the body. Allow everything to be quiet for 1 minute more. Let everything stay deeply quiet. A few moments more. Without moving your body and without moving your mind if possible. You can reach up and just nudge the blanket backwards from your eyes and your ears and let your senses receive again. And try to stay present. This is a meditative moment, a practice to be present. Here are your senses receiving. Be aware of the stream that we called the divine or God or consciousness moving through you. And then that here you are in the family of humanity. And the dilemmas are ours. You may lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Please bend one knee at a time and roll to your side when you're ready to. Use both hands to come back up to sitting. Join your hands together at your heart. We're going to sing the sound of Om 3 times. The Ah sound in the power center here. The U sound and then the M sound. So Om, and then the silence. The fourth note in the sound of Om is silence. Please inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. So Om stands for that which is giving birth, that which is sustaining, that which is dissolving, and the silence that is neither being born, sustained, nor dissolved. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I will come up to visit with you for a few moments. I do have just a few moments this afternoon because I also have a meeting that I'm called to on behalf of the yoga community. Let me do this here first. Okay. Welcome back from your Pratyahara Shavasana. This means that you're asking the senses to go in. We need more leadership with our senses because generally we forget to do that. And then the senses have more leadership over us than we do over them. And they can be called the wild horses of the senses. And because our sense impressions include our history and also the history past our own personal history, we are likely to be reactive when our senses are like wild horses, rather than responsive when our senses have some leadership from us. So, Pratyahara is to bring the senses into balance. Thank you.
Sarahjoy, this is Bella.